All right, hello Internet. It's
Hi.
Ted from Nerd Immersion.
I'm Claire.
Claire. We're just gonna do a quick review of Wizard World Philadelphia 2016. I normally have Sean with me in these videos, but he's lame and didn't go.
You had a wedding.
He's lame and he didn't go, so it's Claire.
You sound like that's a bad thing.
No, you're just not a veteran of these videos. So I wrote out a little outline just of stuff we're gonna talk about, and so there were a lot of different things this year.
It was.
So why don't we just start off first of all? What were your general impressions of Wizard World Philadelphia 2016? Like it?
I liked it. I liked the new things. I liked the new layout. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I liked it as well. I felt we, as a point of fact, typically we this is like our big like together convention because I go to some, with other like convention friends and stuff like that. This is one we've been going to for, I guess, as a little bit of history, 6 years.
Yeah.
We've been going to this convention, so met a lot of other good friends there as well. And yeah, this is the first time we decided to just no costumes, just go to the con to enjoy the con itself.
Yeah. It was a different experience.
It's a completely different experience, and yeah, I think I had a really good time.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
more laid back that way.
Definitely. Let's talk the layout because that did change. I feel like from
Yes.
last year. It was in previous years because every year they seem to close down a different entrance, shut up. You can't keep anything straight.
No.
It's always different. So
Panels are in different rooms.
Yeah, they have,
even
like-
the big ones. I mean,
there's a grand ballroom and the terrace ballroom. Everything was in the terrace ballroom this time. Nothing in the grand ballroom at all. Mm-hmm. The main convention floor seemed, I think it was the same size as last year.
Yeah.
But they always switch up where they put the celebrities. This time they were all the way down like the back far corner, and all of the panel rooms were like completely outside and like a distant ways away in like a one long hallway.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's typically closer. But other than that, I'd say as far as layout goes, except for the actual layout inside, they switched up a lot of stuff. But we'll talk about that when we go further down the list.
okay.
So let's talk guests, because every year, I mean, this is a Wizard World convention. They do have a lot of clout and a lot of money, so they can get high-profile people that a lot of smaller cons can't. But they blew a lot of their budget on some fairly big stars, and in doing so, they didn't really have many other
No.
little stars, and
Yeah.
they usually have like a bunch of
Yeah.
people. So big names.
Michael J. Fox.
Yes. Michael J. Fox being there. This is his only convention appearance ever.
Big.
So Christopher Lloyd does the convention circuit.
That-
I don't think Leah Thompson does, who played is it Lorraine, his mother in the Back to the Future series. So they had the three of them together in one panel and photo op and things like that. And I think the VIP, Michael J. Fox, you could get a hoverboard or the guitar from the end of Back to the Future 1 as like part of it to get him to sign, which was really cool.
I don't know how expensive that was.
Yeah, it's probably pretty pricey. And then they had most of the Avengers, well, a portion of the Avengers cast. They had Chris Evans,
Chris Hemsworth. They had Tom Hiddleston, Sebastian Stan, Anthony Mackie. Those are like the big kind of names for that. But then they also had, I want to say Dominic Cooper and Haley Atwell, who's Agent Carter, and young Howard Stark. Yep. So related.
And I think that was it as far as like... There were other people there, but those are the ones that really stick out in my mind.
Even like there's like maybe a handful of other people, like the Green Ranger, what's his name, was there, but
Jason David Frank seems to be just like an
Everywhere.
attachment to every Wizard World convention, I think, at this point. Sheamus, the wrestler,
a few wrestlers.
was there. And his name is more in the news now because he plays one of either Bebop or Rocksteady in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. But there wasn't really a ton of other celebrities there. A couple of, obviously comic artists and...
Which, I mean,
and
it's kind of
authors.
nice because every once in a while you see like that awkward, lesser-known celebrity like sitting by himself in his autograph stand, and then...
Stephen Amell was there, who's Arrow, and Casey Jones in the new Ninja Turtles movie as well. A more prominent name star, but just kind of outshined by, blockbuster
Marvel
movie
Avengers.
stars.
Yeah.
I know there was a handful of others, but I think we're probably just going to leave it at that because those were the big ones.
Yeah.
And that's, again, kind of where the majority of, I imagine, their celebrity budget went, was to acquire those. So let's talk about the panels, because we did actually go to, I feel like, more panels this year, again, because of the no costume, dressing down. We could focus on...
It's easier to navigate. People aren't asking for your picture, and you can sit down without ruining a costume, essentially.
Having to turn chairs around to fit a proton pack in there, which is a pain. We went to the Cleaning Up the Town Ghostbusters documentary screening, which is one of the two, Ghost Heads being the other one, the Ghostbuster documentary behind the scenes. Ghost Heads is more about the fans, Ghostbuster fans. Cleaning Up the Town is more about the movie.
The making of the movie.
The making of the movie. There's a lot of behind the scenes
stuff.
stuff.
And that's GB1 and GB2.
Yes, yeah. So it was good, what we saw. Absolutely. I don't think we saw the whole thing.
We came in a few minutes late. I had to drag somebody around from doing another activity that we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yes. But it was good. That was like one of the more like, I guess like a small time, like a fan panel. And we were actually we went to our friends from She-Wolf Cosplay, their special effects makeup panel, which was one of the last panel on Saturday. And again, those are kind of cool. They had different designated rooms, and they seem to be the different rooms from the previous years. Because remember that one year, everybody was in like the big panel rooms where they were doing like the smaller star Q&As. So those were fine. There was a cavalcade of different panels up and down that hallway, and then we went to a surprisingly big change from the previous years. Like last year, everything was VIP gated.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you could not go to the panel at all unless you had a VIP ticket. In previous years, it was the first 5 rows, the first 10 rows, whatever it was, were reserved for the VIP. So you buy like a VIP Michael J. Fox ticket, you can go in the first 5 rows and you're guaranteed a seat. Last year we went to the David Tennant Billy Piper panel because she bought a VIP ticket and it came with a freebie one. And we got to go to the panel. But otherwise, if you didn't have a VIP, you couldn't get in. And there was a ton of empty seats last year.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. This year, everything was open to the public, and with sizable stars, I would say. And there was room.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a plus. I think that's definitely an attraction piece. I think they probably got a lot of complaints last year.
Absolutely.
Because as long as you're in the room and experiencing the panel, I don't really care where I'm sitting. Yeah. And I don't feel like I should pay an extra, X number of dollars, especially the VIP. It's expensive.
$100,
you're talking about a few $100s, just be able to experience that special access.
Yeah, and it's like, and again, as if you've never gone to one of these panels or anything like that, just because you're paying and get the VIP to go, also doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get to ask a question. If that's if that's like what you thought was part of the process. It just gets you guaranteed access and closer to the stage.
Yeah.
But
the downside of it, though, was, some of our friends did get VIP tickets, and that only allowed them access for one seat in those top 5 rows.
Correct.
So, you were also sitting, by yourself, dependently, if you did choose to do VIP this year.
Yeah,
which kind of sucks.
And yeah, it was like I said with David Tennant last year, it was 2, but maybe it was only 2 because it was VIP only. Yeah. I don't know. But we went to the Chris Hemsworth, we started off with the Chris Evans, the kind of Captain America panel, Sebastian Stan, Anthony Mackie. And that was, we got there, were we there a little bit late in the morning?
Yeah. We got there like 15 minutes late. Again, I was dragging him. Somebody couldn't get ready fast enough. So we got there 15 minutes late, but it was actually kind of convenient that we got there 15 minutes late, so we got right in. It was standing room only in the back, but, it was fine.
Yeah. That was... And funny
no
enough,
waiting.
And funny enough, that was the most packed panel we went
Absolutely.
to. And we're going to talk about the other 2 in just a sec. But let's talk about the panel itself. And after we're kind of done with this piece, I'm going to splice in some video from the panel because I recorded a chunk of it. Which is, again, something else I'd like to point out. Last year, with the VIP-only panels, it was no flash photography and no recording of any kind. And that could have been because Wizard World was live streaming their panels last year, which again is a weird thing to do one year and then not the next.
They were really pushing apps one year and then not an app, and then,
Yeah, they were pushing the Frankly app or something like that, and they were live streaming it last year, so you couldn't record it because they were doing the live stream of the larger panels, not the smaller ones.
Which I guess, I mean, that kind of goes into the whole not allowing everybody access to the panel,
VIP,
because you could always just, stream it. You just couldn't be there to experience it.
But now they said you could record it, just don't record the whole thing or whatever. It was really random. But I have, a large chunk of the video, so I'll splice them up and kind of throw some stuff in after that. But let's talk about the baby. So we couldn't unfortunately see this because of the way the stage was. We were pretty, we're standing room only in the back, and there were two lines with microphones for fans to walk up and ask questions. Mm-hmm. And I guess where the lighting was for the microphone, I guess on the left side, the right side of the stage, from their perspective, there was a baby that I guess you could see when the light was right, and this woman was holding the baby up. And like every time they would go to a question over there, Anthony Mackie, who if you don't know plays Falcon in Captain America and all the Avengers movies and stuff, he goes, "Hold that baby up!" And he like every time.
I hold that baby back there. Yeah, it's so weird. Look at that. That baby just pops in the light.
And like we're like everybody's laughing, but like unless you're up in the front,
it was repetitive.
You can't like every time. He would say,
"I really want to see what this baby
hold
looks
that
like."
baby."
Put that baby up.
Getting so much screen time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that.
So Claire.
So then the next day, I happened to be going to get ice cream, and who's standing next to me in line? The baby.
Yep.
So.
And and tell her what the woman told you about like the whole situation.
So she actually went up to Anthony Mackie's stand afterwards and talked to one of his handlers and said, "Hey, can you just tell Anthony Mackie the baby is here?" And so because of this baby and the cuteness of this baby, which I will attest to, it was a cute baby, she got to meet.
A VIP, not ticket just for free because of the baby. So again, be mindful of your children in lighting when they're on stage at conventions. You never know.
Yeah.
So that was that panel. Then we went to the Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston panel, which was weird because it wasn't in the program, but then it was.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't on the paper program, but then it was there online, but it wasn't.
So I wonder if that was something that they were talking about, possibly having VIP only, and then opened it to access.
Changed it. So we went to that panel and.
It wasn't as crowded, yeah.
Yeah, and you would think with Tom Hiddleston, who's like, I mean, they're all big stars, but like the internet and the fangirls and just the amount of Loki cosplay, which we'll talk about later on.
So many Lokis.
You would think there would have been more full, and there was like the whole that we were in standing room, like the whole back rows.
I just want to point out that Buffy is being really silly.
Oh, I could see her. Yeah.
That's Buffy, everyone.
Yes. Like. There was several like rows, like probably 10 plus rows in the whole back of the area there were all empty.
Yeah.
And their panel was good. I still think as far as charisma goes and humor in the panel, I still say the Chris Evans, Anthony Mackie one was just more fun. Also something, I guess we'll preface this too, the fan questions, and I don't know if you've ever been to a Comic-Con or been into a Q&A.
This is a pet peeve of mine. Big pet peeve.
She hates this, and it's almost like not worth going to panels with her, honestly, because I can't handle how much it bothers her.
I get very frustrated easily.
Every year they say to the people, the kind of MC will say, "Hey, these guys only have a little bit of time here. We're going to try to get through as many fan questions as possible, so keep it to one question per person. Not any 3-part questions, no personal requests, no asking for a hug, kiss, any kind of affection, no asking to say something to your friend on the phone, none of that stuff. Just one question so that we can get it rolling." Yeah. And every year, without fail, that never happens. Somebody will go, "Hi, I have a 3-part question. I just wanted to ask you, I want to tell you this story for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to ask you this question and then follow-up question.
And then I want to tell you how much I appreciate you being here and how big of a fan I am, because nobody else appreciates them being here or is as big of a fan."
That I don't have a problem with, because that's usually like,
well, it's repetitive. Every person doesn't need to tell them that.
Well, but everybody wants to make them feel loved in the city of brotherly love.
There's 1,000 people coming to see you in a panel. You're loved.
Well, either way. There was that this time, but it was actually relatively quick. "Hey, I just wanted to say that thank you for being here.
and my question. But that was it. It was all like one question. And like
People were much better this year.
questions too, like really good questions. So that was awesome. The Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston panel was good. People tried to get a lot of tweaks out of them for stuff about
future stuff, and they were very
about
secretive.
the Thor Ragnarok, but no big news on that. So that panel was solid, and then we went again. The last panel we went to was the Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson panel. And Bob Gale was also there too as one of the directors or writers on the movie, the whole trilogy. They did confirm there will not be a reboot of Back to the Future. There will not be a fourth Back to the Future. So throwing that out there.
Yeah.
And the guy who was actually the MC he wrote a fan companion book on Back to the Future. So he actually had a lot of insight into that, and he did a very good job, by cutting a lot of, I feel like, would have been the questions out by hey, we heard about blah, 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 and he had all the information about it and asked them the questions. And again, started off before they were going to go to the Q&A section to, let me ask you, we're going to say this round of Jeopardy, and any of these questions are off the board, and that was, will there be a reboot, will there be a Back to the Future, etc.
Yeah.
So that was really good, and the panel was really good. It was funny. Christopher Lloyd he was a little, I guess to just speak to them, he was a little slow on the response.
Yeah.
But I'm sure this isn't his first time doing this, and he's getting up there age-wise.
Yeah.
But his were a little bit more drawn out. But honestly, Michael J. Fox, he was excited.
Yeah, he was very engaged. And I mean, he was not afraid to, hide his disability. He was still, very active in answering questions and
even questions that he wasn't involved in that weren't for him, he jumped in to answer anyway.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to expect. I was actually on the fence of going just because I didn't know how I was going to be able to take it as someone that was a huge part of my childhood growing up. And he was phenomenal. I mean, just right there on the ball, picking up jokes, making fun of everybody else up there. And he was just having a great time. And that's awesome. It makes me wish that he had, he'd been going to conventions all along.
Yeah.
Because this was his first one ever. But I hope, based on that and the way he went, that his convention going experience was that he'll do more, because more people should get to witness that. And again, I'll cut in and I'll do separate videos, kind of splicing quick questions here and there from what I was able to get from the panel. But yeah, he should go. I hope that the Philly gave him a good enough experience to make him want to go out to more. So that's panels. I think we covered that pretty well.
Those are the big ones we went to.
Let's talk entertainment, because there was a lot of entertainment there. For obviously it's a convention. There's vendors. There's things for you to buy, things like that. But there was a lot of other things that are prevalent at other conventions, not so much at Wizard World, but there were this year.
Yeah.
Big one being a whole gaming section.
Yeah, computer and video games.
Yes. This, they had big screens like you'd see at a convention like PAX or something, where you have they had Geico Gaming there doing a Hearthstone tournament. They had a Smash Brothers tournament. They had Tekken 7, which isn't even out yet there, so you could play Tekken 7 and a Tekken 7 tournament. Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, which I don't believe is out yet, doing a tournament for that.
I kicked butt at that one.
You didn't even... and then, so they had areas for those tournaments to go. I don't know what the prizes were. They weren't really posted.
No.
I don't know if there was a prize. I assume, but they had that, and they had a little area for where the games were going down for people to spectate and watch. And then the Hearthstone tournament was kind of off to the side on a separate set of screens, which is brand new to Wizard World, at least Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's a great idea. There are a lot of gamers that go to these conventions, and it gives them something else to do other than it will keep people there more and more engaged. Because if you go, and let's say you go into the Smash Brothers tournament, which is only Friday, that would have been most of your day Friday going to the tournament. Which would be...
So I think it gives people a reason to get multi-day tickets instead of just going on a Saturday.
Because you go through the tournament and you're like, oh my god, the convention ended, and all I did today was...
Still want to see other stuff.
I want to see what was there, so I'm going to go back a second day. So good on Wizard World for making that decision. So they have had in the past a tabletop gaming area, usually relatively small, in just the middle with a board game library where you kind of hand them your ID, your photo ID, and they keep it. You take out a game and you play. So they've had that this year, but they've expanded that immensely and had a ton more games. And then they also added a paint and take mini area, which was awesome. What? What are
Because you loved it.
I did. Why? What?
He wanted to spend all the time there.
Okay. I mean, it's no secret that this channel has a lot of tabletop gaming, Dungeons and Dragons specifically here. But if you've never done a paint and take scenario, I mean, larger conventions like Gen Con or PAX, it's better because you have a larger selection of things to pick. This still had I would say, 40 options of different minis to pick from.
I think it was a fun.
$5 for the little minis, $10 for the big minis. I mean, we have some of them right here in arm's reach, and I'll do close-up pictures of these so you can actually see. But essentially what you do is you spend $5 or $10 and you get a mini, and then you take it to a little station where they have high-quality miniature paints, brushes, water, little paper plate to use as a palette, and then you pay your money and you just paint.
Yeah.
You just sit there and you paint the mini, whatever colors you want, however you want to do it. And I feel there were a ton of people that don't. I mean, I'm going to test that for sure with Kate.
Yeah.
People that don't play D&D or any type of tabletop gaming of any kind that just thought it was cool to sit down and paint a mini.
I think there's a decent amount of kids that enjoyed it too.
They had dragons,
activity.
they had unicorns, things that I don't know how many little girls I saw sitting down.
Every little girl had a unicorn.
Was painting a unicorn.
They were probably sold out of those by the end of the weekend.
I wouldn't be surprised, or they were smart and brought extra of those.
Yeah.
But you sit down and you're painting, and it's cool now. As a kid that doesn't play games, I've got a cool little unicorn that I can just take home with me, and I painted this at the convention. It's a little memento, a little memory.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean,
cheap souvenir.
Yeah, and you could play with it as a toy itself if you want with other toys, or if you eventually do get into tabletop gaming, you have a unicorn.
Yeah.
Or a dragon or whatever it is, and it was just a cool. It was also really cool because you're just sitting there, you're painting, and the convention is still happening around you, so you're seeing cosplay go by and all this stuff.
Definitely.
And it's it's just if you want to kind of just relax and you don't want to sit down and actually play a game, you can just kind of mellow out, paint a mini, relax, go get some food if you want, sit there and do that, And it was full pretty much every time we were there. There was always stations taken. People are swapping paints because they didn't, all the different. It was a good way to get interaction with other people if you're all sitting around one group of paints. I think that they'd be stupid to not bring it back.
Yeah.
I think it was really good. And I mean, they didn't even have a miniature representative. They had a little tabletop kind of company that was bringing in games that also had minis. Larger conventions, these were all Reaper miniatures, which I've done the review here on the channel of Reaper miniatures. I'll put a link in the description. But larger conventions, Reaper will actually come there with their whole selection.
Do a demonstration.
And they have every mini that they have, which is hundreds of minis. And it's you want to do a paint and take, well, here's our entire catalog, what would you like to paint? So, it's also nice, too, as a gamer, to be able to see the model up close, because when you see the picture online, you kind of can't get as good of an idea.
Yeah.
But you can actually look at it and be okay, yeah, this is something I want. I'm going to buy this really just to have, or I'm going to buy it, sit and paint it here to take a load off, So that was really cool. I think that was a good idea. I think it's cheap and easy, and it's self-entertainment. I feel like they'd be stupid to not bring it back. Okay, this was it's a fan vendor booth, but toothless.
Oh yeah, I like toothless.
Let's throw up some pictures after we talk about it here of Claire. But they had what I guess would the best way to describe it would be a life-size Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
A very large Night Fury dragon that you could pay $5 to pose in front of and $10 to actually climb on top of and ride the dragon and get your picture riding the dragon. And they had the people that were running the booth were dressed as Astrid and Hiccup, so they had people dressed in costume that were really into it.
Yeah.
And then they also had prop weapons and Viking helmet and stuff like that for you to kind of wield while you're on there. Only one person at a time, just due to weight limits and stuff like that.
And Claire actually got a cool little like resin Dragon Rider coin. That's fine. I'll throw a picture up of it.
Okay.
That she got for like supplies last. Like the first few people that paid to ride the dragon got the coin. So that was kind of just a neat little souvenir too. So again, I'll throw up those pictures. So that was cool. I mean, I guess it's in the same vein as like the classic cars. People show up with like the like the Ecto 1 or the Jurassic Park Jeep or the General Lee or whatever. But this was different. I was just unique because it wasn't like a car, which is a functional thing you can drive to and from places. This was just toothless. It was awesome. Okay, let's talk giveaways. I feel like there were a lot more this year of places that were like, sign up here, do this thing to get free stuff.
I mean, yeah, they have like these kind of sponsorships that come in. It's typically like an insurance company or a bank or
colleges,
stuff like that they just want to get your information, and then they'll, offer you a chance to win something.
But I feel like there was a lot more this year.
There's a lot.
I mean, and again, it's free swag is not a new thing.
I got a baby Geico.
Yeah, I was gonna say we went to the Geico gaming booth. And actually, I put it downstairs. You could get either a big, huge, like Geico tote bag, or a really nice, around 18-inch long by about 12 inches mouse pad, which is actually a nice mouse pad. And then if you're a Geico policy holder, they gave you a mini gecko, like stuffed animal, which was cool. Again, State Farm was there. They used to enter a giveaway to win a camera, and you could take some, whatever their stuff was. Wizard World actually now has a rewards program. For every $1 you spend at Wizard World, but it seems like only on tickets.
Yeah.
You get,
I don't know what else you buy technically through Wizard World.
I guess if you buy merch, maybe like a Wizard World
Wizard World
shirt.
sweatshirt.
But you get rewards points that can be used to... every $1 is a point, and it can be redeemed for coupons. I don't know if it's coupons off ticket price or whatever.
Yeah.
But they also had like one of those things where like it's blowing up all of these different... that you reach in and you grab it, and it, like a piece of paper. You got an extra 25 points.
Yeah.
And I got a limited edition issue number 1 of The Walking Dead that I won out of there. There was a couple other people. The Reynolds Advanced Testing, Reynolds Advanced Materials, which are a proprietor of Smooth On products. They were there last year, and they do a giveaway every hour where they're basically giving away just makeup kits, resin kits, things like that. So if you're into resin casting or you're new to it, they were there. So they would they give you like a flyer for like a 2-day class to learn how to resin cast. They have samples there of their different products, and you had an opportunity to talk to the professionals that work there and potentially win some of that. Last year, I won like a plaster cast to make, like if you wanted to make a hand cast or any kind of body part cast, but there's enough to do like a full hand cast. So if you wanted to make like gloves or something like that, you could have a resin thing or build on that. There were indie games there, which I think was a new thing as well.
Like card game type.
Yeah, like people that are indie game companies, some that are fairly new, totally new. We played one, Rat Race, I think it was called. It was okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, when we played, the developer of the game himself was not there, so we played kind of with his booth mates, I guess, and they explained it, but we didn't quite get it right off the bat. And another company that I've seen before at other conventions was there, Black Slither Games. But this is the first time I've seen indie card game, board game companies at a Wizard World convention just promoting their product. So that was really cool. You typically see this at other conventions.
Well, I think the GoFundMe and the sponsorship, Kickstarter has really kind of promoted people being able to kind of do their own things, and then also seek out new people to kickstart their products, and get a little sample out there before that actually goes in production.
Yeah,
I think that's a reaction to that.
It was definitely good. It's good to see. It's good to see more breadth of content and vendors and booths there, rather than just people selling things or artists. These kind of fall under the art area, but still really cool.
trying to think, was there anything else that we saw as far as vendors or booths that was worth mentioning there? There was an archery booth. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Guys selling bows, like custom.
Oh, what about the alligator and the spider and the?
Oh yeah, I think they were there last year, but it was just
were they?
basically like people that had like
Critters.
Critters, yeah, basically an alligator that you could hold or pet,
Yeah.
mouth taped shut, the baby alligator, tarantula, python, that kind of stuff, just there
Yeah.
doing their
You
thing.
pay money to pose with them type of thing, pictures.
But yeah, as far as entertainment goes, I feel like that was pretty much it. Oh, Wild Bill of Wild Bill Soda was there.
Yep.
3 stands there to get to, again, that's a thing that he seems to be cropping up more and more at more conventions. So if you have one of the mugs,
Remember them.
just bring it with you, throw it in your car, because you might just be able to. And honestly, if it's real busy, I always forget, it's true. If you throw it in your car and if it's really busy, you could just walk up and get the refill. Like, because you need to get like a stamp.
It's not very honest.
I'm just telling you. Be savvy con goer. Was there anything else booth, vendor, floor-wise worth mentioning?
I think there's definitely some interesting homemade crafts type things.
Like what was
You like the little, what are they, the bead things that I think.
No,
are really-
I don't like them, but I like. There was a huge there was probably 10 booths that had like perler bead.
Yeah. And you like the mystery boxes.
That's actually what I wanted to talk
okay.
about. Yeah, just now. They have this is the second time we've seen them there. This one was much better than last time. You got basically a mystery box. You spend, was it $25?
I think 30.
30, and you basically pick a box, and it has a guaranteed 6 items of random fandom in it. They also had like a jumbo one that looked like a TARDIS. This one looked like a coin block from Mario. They also had one that looked like a companion cube from Portal. There was a TARDIS box that was like a jumbo box, which was 60 that had 12 items in it. And there was one that was also 60 that was 8 only Doctor Who items.
Yep.
And we'll actually splice in the video now of Claire doing the unboxing of that.
Hi, so I'm Claire with Immersion. Today we're talking from Philadelphia Comic-Con, Wizard World, and we just bought a mystery box, so we're going to see what's inside. I think we get 8 different items from all nerd fan bases, and start off pretty cool. Got a nice bag.
TARDIS.
TARDISes. Nice. Looks like a blanket or a towel.
Star Wars, yeah, nice.
Power armor Fallout.
Okay, Funko Pop.
Some Lego coasters you can build on brick. Actually, that's pretty cool. You can like build like a protective layer so you can't knock over your brick.
Okay.
We got a lanyard for Doctor Who and a Doctor Who bracelet. It's
great.
Solid.
Yeah, was that all that's in there, or is
Yep.
there any paper for grand prize winner, maybe?
No grand prize winner.
Okay, well, that wasn't bad for $35.
Yeah.
I think the towel's probably pretty expensive.
Pretty bad.
So, just as a frame of reference, that is what you're buying right over there. And you basically, there's all these on the things on the top shelves are grand prizes, like that giant Yoshi you can see, that Link, that Master Chief element. There's a potential that you'll get inside your box a slip that says you're grand prize winner and it tells you what you won. $35 for the question mark or the companion cube. You can go $60 for one of the Doctor Who boxes, which has 8 items as opposed to 6, or $100 for a 12-item jumbo box that's only Doctor Who items. So this is actually a lot better than the one we did last year, wouldn't you say? The one we did last year had like really random crap in it.
My Little Pony, weird things in it. So
Random
it was very
DVDs.
specific nerdles.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, not a bad pickup if you're here at Wizard World. So, we're back. So that's how that went. I actually ended up trading the box and a couple of the contents of it to a food vendor at a food truck vendor to get free food because he was like, he couldn't go because he's running the food truck. But we'll talk about the food in just a sec. So cosplay. Let's talk cosplay this year.
Okay. I wasn't overly impressed. There was a lot of repetitiveness. I don't know how many Star Wars Reys there were, or how many gender bent Lokis or regular Lokis. I would say those are probably the 2 most popular cosplays this year.
Yeah. Suicide
of
Squad,
caps.
Harley Quinn.
Oh, yes.
So Daddy's Little Monster, booty shorts, and the blue and red
Yeah.
hair. I honestly wish I had the forethought to take pictures of every individual Ray and Suicide Squad Harley, because I guarantee you I would have had at least 50 of each between the 3 days we were there.
Yeah.
There were a fair amount of caps, lady caps,
To be
genderbend
expected.
caps,
I mean,
and
with
things
Chris
like
Evans.
that. No Hydra cap,
Yeah.
which, I mean, that's a big, like, I had assumed, like, you would have seen, like, a Captain Hydra, like, black with,
Yeah.
like, the Hydra shield or something like that. What I actually thought about would have been a really cool cosplay would have been to do Two-Face from Batman, but Red Skull Captain America.
Oh.
I just thought of that, like, yesterday, and I was like, that would have been really good
That would have been.
because of the timing, but
Yeah.
feel free to take that one around with it, Internet. There was a Red Skull. That was pretty good.
Yes, there was.
What else? Was there any? I mean, I wasn't really, like you said, I wasn't really wowed by.
Yeah.
There's a fairly good Iron Man and, like, a couple of really good, like, Avengers groups.
There's a cute Mary Poppins.
Yeah, there was a Mary Poppins couple that was there. There was a Yzma and Kronk
Yeah, that was different.
from Emperor's New Groove. There was a lot of weird, like, Victorian Avengers.
Yeah.
There was the Civil War of the Roses
Like the
group.
popular twist on it right now, apparently.
Apparently, Civil War of the Roses was the one group, but then there was, like, another two groups
Yeah,
that
there
were
was.
like dressed like that. There was a fair amount of good cosplay there, and but again, a lot of repetitive.
Yeah, not a lot of unique, different things.
There's a really
Or
good Cobra
Rumble.
Commander. That one caught my eye because there's just you don't see a lot of Cobra Commander going around.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? We skipped past this on the entertainment. The painting guy.
Oh my gosh, he was impressive.
Yeah, that's actually a booth we forgot to talk about in
Yeah.
the entertainment. They had kind of the gaming area, let's say here, and then like over parallel to it, they had another booth hooked up to a computer for digital artists, so you could actually like sit there and converse with the artist as they were talking to you, like comic book artists. Drawing whatever like fan suggestions in like Photoshop or what have you, and it was hooked up to a screen so you could see them as they were drawing it.
And they had seats set up and stuff like that, so it was definitely something just, entertainment.
To observe, yeah. But there was this one guy, Rob Pryor is his name. I have the full video of one of his works, which I will put up. I'm not going to splice it in because it's like 15 minutes, but I'll do a separate video of that, and I'll put an annotation here for you to click on to see it. But he paints with two hands, two brushes.
What kind of dancing?
Yeah, like it's interpretive painting, I guess. Like he plays like hard, like rock,
Yeah.
like drowning pool at the bodies hit the floor, and like Du hast, and he's like, and he's like,
And his work is good.
it's really good. He has this crazy art style where he does like again the two brushes, so two paint brushes simultaneously, and he sprays Windex on it, and it like gets like a drip effect. It's really cool. I'll put a link
but
to
it's crisp at the same time. I mean,
it
it's
is. He
really...
did like a joke, like the video. He did like a Joker in like 12. It was like he did this really long paint of a Captain America, a really cool Captain America print. And then like he had like 10, 15 minutes left, and he's like, "Let's see what I can do." And he did like a Joker in like 12 minutes, and that's what the video you'll see is of. I'll put a link to his website and his works and stuff in the description if you want to check that out. It's really cool art.
Yeah.
I really like it. It's just something unique that I'd never seen. Again, talk about getting interesting people there to do work, and that stage was
And
great
honestly,
for
just
that.
viewing it was just a unique experience to see an artist in action, who's really an entertainment artist. He even performs with some bands.
Yeah, Critical Hit, the video game band. He says he paints on stage with them as
While
they
they're
play to
performing.
their music. Yeah. And he's done. From what it sounded like, I can't remember everybody that he said, but I feel like there were actually like quote name bands on the radio bands that he does that with as well.
It's interesting.
So definitely worth checking him out. Again, it's Rob Pryor is the guy. I'll put a link to his website in the description. So just kind of got out of hand, but I just forgot about that till just now. So let's talk food at the convention. Typically, it's a convention, so you typically have like the concession stand style stuff in there, which has like your awful nasty, nachos and
Chicken tenders.
cheesesteaks because it's Philly. But this year, totally different. Had a whole lineup of food trucks out front, like out on the main strip, right outside the convention hall. 5 or 6 different food trucks.
why is that not a thing? I mean, it is at PAX.
Everywhere.
Well, at PAX, they have, like, a food truck lineup
Yeah.
right out front. But, like, this is a thing more cons should get into, or at least
Well, I think that trend's
advertise
pretty
more.
new too.
Food trucks are on the rise.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there was like a Jamaican jerk place. There was the sushi burrito place we went to,
Sushi
which was
burritos are
awesome. We were pissed because we went there the one day there was all these options, and the next day a bunch of them weren't there. It was like a cupcake truck the one day, and
Yeah.
they were gone.
We missed it.
I went to this kind of like pot sticker place. That's the guy I traded the box away to. I'll actually put a link to his website in the description because that was phenomenal food. It was, spring rolls and pot stickers, but dude was awesome.
Yeah.
If you live in Philly or around that area, you should check him out if you can find him. But I'll put a link to his stuff in the description because he gave me a card, so I'm going to do
As
that. Okay, so that was anything else on the food?
Not really.
Now, you can't really speak to this, but I can. The after party. Philly,
Oh yeah.
what the fuck? Because this is ridiculous. So, this isn't my first Philadelphia, Wizard World Philadelphia after party. Across the street from the convention center is a sports bar called the Fieldhouse. Fieldhouse is a great bar. It's a great sports bar. I'm going to preface that with sports bar. But it's a good bar. It has
it's alright.
decent bar food and reasonable prices and like a little gaming area. Like the table shuffleboard, basketball game, like a gun shooting game, like a skee ball, like a couple of interesting things to keep you occupied if you're not into the game or whatever. However, every year, without fail, they schedule the Wizard World Philadelphia after party to be at the Fieldhouse at around 10 p.m. on the same night as some sort of major sporting event. Last year, it was a UFC fight. This year, it was the Stanley Cup, and the Penguins were in it.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you're going to this. Now, let me also say, this year it had a $10 cover charge.
Yeah.
Normally, it's free if you have a wristband, or like $5 or $10 just to get in, right? So, presumably, you're getting there at 10, spending $10 after you've already bought your convention ticket to go to this after party, and there is no after party. You walk in, and what is it? It's a bunch of bros watching the hockey game, drinking, cheering at the hockey game.
Then a few people dressed in outfits and
Awkwardly
cosplay,
in costumes,
awkwardly
like
in the corner.
looking around. Where's the party?
Where's the party?
Now they have a whole upstairs area,
Yeah,
and
they
a whole
should separate
private
it.
party room off to the side, and those are not. They're not like blocked off. So the bar essentially wraps all the way around like this, and like there's an exit out that you can't leave out of. And all of the Comic-Con people are like in this little section, just like awkwardly standing there having drinks. And I mean, there are people in costume. There are people that aren't in costume but are clearly from the convention. And you can see them all like looking, like walk, like they see people coming down from the upstairs, and they go over to ask like the bar guy, like the bouncer, "Is that the after party?" No, no, this is. Oh, I don't know how many people I saw do that, and it's like. Then it's, week at 10 o'clock, there was 18 minutes left in the third period. That's another hour at least of hockey where these people are going to be watching the game, cheering, being excited about the game, and pissed off when they start to dim the lights and a DJ starts cranking music because they can't hear the game. And then it's like, it's a bunch of nerds versus a bunch of people who are watching the sports game, and everybody is back and arguing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, maybe pick a different place. Like, I get it, it's convenient, it's across the street from
Or,
the convention center.
have in one of those private rooms. I mean,
Section it off.
yeah, section it off.
Because, like, there is no... the cosplay contest already happened at the convention hall. There's no giveaways. There's no themed anything for this after party. It's just a party.
Yeah.
There's no themed...
I think a few times in the past they have had, like, prizes and certain
They did, but
contests.
the one year they had it at the Trocadero, which was separate, but they had the
Yes.
weird Screamo Asian band,
Yeah, that
which
was
made no sense.
different.
It was like, it was Screamo as an after party where you're like trying to, like, everybody's trying to have a good time, and it
I
was...
jumped roped in a mosh pit.
Yeah.
It was an interesting experience.
But yeah, if you cordoned it off and had it separate, but again, this is a Wizard World convention, so the cosplay contest is its own thing.
Yes.
That happens at the convention center prior to this. What we did was we went in at 9:30 before the cover charge started, and then just hung around till the after party started, so we didn't have to spend the $10. But unless you figure that out, what?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Not about her. But I would have been extremely upset had I gone there and paid $10 to get into this party to find out that there isn't one.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's just like a DJ up in the front of the bar by the window just playing some music that's still fairly low because of the game. And, like, that's it. Like, other convention after parties, they do have a costume contest. They do have a giveaway. They have themed drinks, even.
Yeah.
They didn't have... This is a sports bar with nerds in it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Don't even call it an after party.
I wouldn't call it an after party. You'd be better off just going back to your hotel room and having to, like, bringing some drinks there and having a party there, or trying to find something somewhere else.
Yeah.
One of the other, because there are always other events happening on like the tail end of that. Like, there's usually a burlesque show and things like that. A little burlesque show at a $25 cover charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, cover charge just to get, so whatever. The after party was awful. Don't go to these unless they change it up next year. Okay. General thoughts. Was a World Philadelphia 2016.
I had a good time.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah.
I
thought the panels were solid. I liked the layout. I thought there was a lot of things to do during the day. For somebody who's not necessarily into the, gaming and stuff like that, I typically like people watch. And I found that there was a lot for me to do besides just people watch and walk around that, I was engaged in more this year than I have been in the past.
Yeah. Same. I mean, it was nice to have, we didn't have a lot of time because we were going to and from panels, but, there were other panels that we had talked about possibly going to that we didn't go to, other, like, fan panels, a lot of cosplay panels now, different material works and
even
things
like writing and...
Yep, world building, NPC creation, things like that. Really cool stuff. And then... again, you could have entered into any of the gaming tournaments, but they also had the stuff there for free play. So you could have just, like, when the tournament wasn't happening, you could just go and play the game just to play the game, see if you could rally up some people to get, like, a match of Smash Brothers going. They had, like, Pac-Man randomly.
Yeah.
A couple of random stuff.
You did some, like, vintage games. They had Asteroid and stuff like that, just, like, hanging out in some machines.
Yeah, Bandai Namco had a booth for Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, so they had, like, old school arcade games. Yeah, I had a good time. Would you go again?
Yeah.
Yeah, so would I.
As we have in the past 6 years.
Sometimes the convention really rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, would you ever go back to PAX? You didn't really like it.
I didn't really like that.
Because you don't like games.
No.
Video games. Yeah, then I had a great time. But
I didn't even know what people were dressed as.
I know. When in doubt, it's League of Legends.
Why did so many people have tails?
Last little bit before we close out this review, how do you think this stacked up to previous years?
I liked it. I think that I liked the additions of, all these other activities. I thought that the guests were excellent. There's fewer guests, but the guests that they did have were big guests. So, it's a trade-off that you're going to expect. Yeah, I thought it was a good year.
Yeah, I would say that Wizard World Philadelphia I think I can truthfully say that they've done nothing but improve their convention every year. It's a
little bit less, sometimes it's not as organized and stuff like that, but I think they have been improving.
Well, we didn't have, like, big long lines waiting outside like we had in previous years.
I had one line.
Did you?
Yeah, for Tom Hiddleston and Thor.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Hemsworth.
On the way out, you mean?
On the way in.
Oh, on the way in. You got there. You went there early.
Yeah, because I actually got there early for that one.
And then it didn't matter. Anyway.
Yeah, there's still plenty of room.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a lesson learned too. You don't need to stand in line unless you really want to be up front, which you're going to be behind the VIP people anyway. But if you just want to go, the screens are great, and
Yeah, a lot of the videos you'll see that I filmed were just zoomed in on the screens. Also, what else was I going to say? Yeah, it was standing room only for the Captain America one, so you do have to be somewhat mindful of that. But yeah, for the most part, I would say it's just gotten better and better every year. The additions of the gaming, I assume we'll see that grow in the next year. The food trucks out front giving multiple options for the people. The only thing they really need to focus in on is the after party.
Yeah.
And once they get that fixed, I'd say it'll be, solid all the way around.
I agree.
Swag bags would be good,
Yeah, it'd be a perk. They typically have, like I think last year we did get a copy of a comic book on the way in.
Yeah, well, VIPs typically, like when I did the Bruce Campbell VIP
okay,
a
that's
few
why.
years back, I got
'Cause I got
early access to my panel, front of the line for the picture, for the autograph. I got like a deck of Magic cards and like a handful of other things into the convention floor early.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, guys, that was it. If you were at Wizard World Philadelphia 2016 this year, why don't you let us know what you thought in the comments below about it? What would you change? But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So anyway,
Good
guys,
times.
have a good one. We'll see you next time.